2. Hello.
Hello.
Good day, everybody. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
How we doing? How we doing?
I'm actually pretty tired. I'm pretty tired.
When are you not?
Nice. Yeah.
Why
That's
were we
the
meeting at
animator
Chucky place today?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Do you know whose birthday it was?
Yours?
Oh, it was. It was my Christmas.
Happy
Happy
birthday!
birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Way to
Do you
born.
know whose?
Good job.
Do you know whose birthday it was before mine?
Was it mine?
Well, when is your birthday?
August.
No.
Technically, yeah.
The one
it was.
before mine was Loonsar.
Hey!
All right,
Let's
clap it up. Like,
Oh,
Hey,
he's inside
are you
the
good?
guy!
There? Are you all right?
I just stuck my head in here. It was 1987, I think.
Oh.
I've been in here for a bit.
That was
There's
your
a
last
child
birthday.
in that robotic machine right there.
He's not a child anymore.
True.
Oh yeah.
He's an adult.
He's
Big
an
But you know
adult.
whose birthday it was before that?
Fine.
There's a lot of birthdays actually.
It was Telly's.
Oh!
Hey, wait, really? I didn't know that. Oh no, it was Telly's birthday.
yeah. In January.
Yeah.
I turned 27. I'm old now.
Dude, nice job. Way to go.
27. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're only 3
I
years
still feel
older than
young.
me?
Yeah, I'm not that much older.
That's
You're
You're only
pretty young.
10 years younger than me? No, just kidding.
Well, you know whose birthday it is after mine?
What? Mine.
Hyun's.
Oh, good
Oh.
job.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that one.
Oh, how old are you turning? Tell us.
Now, moving on to the announcements. Actually, we should announce our guests because we didn't even talk about our
Oh
guests.
yes, our
Yeah,
guest.
today is episode
There you go.
35, and we have Telepurte on today.
Hey, Telly.
Telly Poodle.
I have a dog
to have
outside
you.
that's barking.
That's okay. The dog could be
Yeah,
in the episode,
all
too.
Is the dog in him?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Oh.
But
That's
yeah, Telly has actually been within our community for a long time. So he's actually an old friend. A lot of people kind of find it random that Telly's in our community, but he's been here, man. He's been.
Yeah, I started animation in Fluid Anims, which is pretty much the
What?
predecessor to.
Wait, that's
I didn't even
earlier
know
than I
that.
thought.
What the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he goes way back. It's kind of
Wow.
crazy.
I thought you joined around the same time I did. Damn, so I'm still the numbers are dwindling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was like, I think I joined in 2013, 2012-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're at the
Dang.
tail end of Fluid Anims.
Yeah, the right.
Yeah.
Still
yeah.
Fluid Anims.
Yeah.
Dang, nice.
I remember
That's
it
wild.
like when it was still forums and people actually used forums.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, before we get into that though, it's let's cover a bit of announcements for today. I know
Yes.
Hatena has an announcement to make, right?
Yes, but I want to shout out this one first for Stick March. It is
Whoa!
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like y'all know Inktober or Sticktober more specifically. Well, they
Yeah.
do it in March as well. So
There's a
I
March
believe,
version.
Yeah, I believe the last couple were hosted by a Twitter account by the name of Daily RHG. Or no, it was Stickman of the Day. Sorry.
Yeah,
But that was like the OG Stick fan account. But I believe they've kind of parted ways, or they're I can't find their account. But Lori, Lori, creator of Crossfire Bullet Rain, decided to step in and host this year's Stick March.
Hey,
So-
yeah, there you go.
You can find a link to this post in the description, and just it's a little prompt every day of whatever you want based on the prompt. and you attach the hashtag StickMarch2024, and then people will look at it and go, "Wow."
Wow. I'm looking at that. Wow.
No, it's a fun thing though. And they have my movie again for some
Wow.
reason.
Hey, let's go.
Wow.
I like how Zhao Zhao is at the end. That's
I know.
that's respectful.
It's a fun way to end though.
I love that. I love that.
All right.
But,
And the other
good
thing
luck
that
with
we
that.
have to announce is a stream that I'm doing tomorrow. Wow, I advertised my own thing.
Whoa.
tomorrow.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
yippee!
Is tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. You do the math on when that actually is for you. But if you want
4
me
p.m..
to, if you want me to watch your animation on stream and react to it and critique it and tell you what you did well and what you could do better, there is a Google form link in the description. You just need to follow a few rules and give me a little bit of info, and then my team will review it and then we'll watch it. But that will be
That's
on.
fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that will be on my commentary channel at Dendo360 here. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
wait, you should link that.
oh, it is. It's tagged in the description as well.
Got it.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. I might stop by and maybe review some animations too.
Yeah, I mean if
I'm
it
in the neighborhood.
if it does well, then I'll try and have a guest on for like entire episodes in the future.
Oh,
That'd be
that's
cool.
yeah,
So-
that'd be cool. For
You
sure.
know, all these three on the in the rented out Chuck E. Cheese may be a part of it. Eventually.
Yeah, this place
No,
is
this-
empty though.
This
Yeah.
is Charles.
No one
Well,
This is
I
Charles
say-
D. Place.
So I said I rented it out, but I didn't actually. We showed up and no one was here except for one employee. So I
Hey,
don't,
Giving
man.
off like back rooms vibes.
yeah, I'm surprised they're still in business.
Yeah, I think they are
there's,
too.
There's one nearby where I live, and there's just 0 cars there, and it's always empty.
Here, we have one here, and it
Yeah.
is popping. It's bursting at the
Oh,
seams.
really?
No
They're
way,
like they have
that's
like a
cool.
bouncer at the front holding the door shut because it's just squished
Hey.
up against the windows.
Oh, that's good.
All right. Well, icebreaker before we get into the person y'all actually care about here. I've been getting into music lately.
Oh,
Very into it.
Okay.
I already own a lot more instruments than I did 2 months ago, or 2 or
Nice.
3 months ago. I have a
what
guitar.
instruments did you get?
Thank you for asking. I have an acoustic guitar, an acoustic bass, an electric bass, and I just bought something that I already broke within minutes of holding it. Because it was a cheap Amazon purchase, but I have it right here. Could you guess what it is? Don't guess.
He's
because
reaching.
I know what it is. Oh no, he's reaching!
He's reaching. I bought a violin. Oh shit.
Whoa!
Ah, look at that. Beautiful.
I've heard that this thing is really difficult to learn how to play, but I don't think it's actually that difficult. But the moment that I touched it, I tried tuning it and instantly snapped the first string.
Oh my
That's
god.
great.
So,
Just cranked it
but-
and immediately snapped it.
Thankfully, it came with spare strings because they probably
Oh,
knew
there you
that would
go.
happen. But it's not bad. It's a cheap one, so it doesn't sound the most beautiful. But I can do the funny horror thing.
Do it, do it.
You
Oh,
yeah, that
noise
ain't bad.
suppression.
can't even hear it. Yeah,
Maybe the stream will pick it up.
Oh, the stream
actually.
could
We
hear it,
can't
for
hear
sure.
it. Yeah, the stream will pick
Oh.
it up.
that's okay. Well, it's a funny splurge purchase of mine lately.
When I was a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, I just remember thinking before it was described to me what they were. I was like, I want to play the neck guitar.
The neck.
I mean, it kind of is. Well,
Why do
do
they
you
use a
guys-
stick for the neck guitar?
Well, do
Now
guys
that you
play
have
any-
a violin and that you have a guitar, have you thought about running the bow of the violin on the strings of the guitar?
I
That's
already
right.
I already tried. I can't I know it's possible, but I can't get it to work. Like it just doesn't it doesn't sound good. Or like it doesn't sound at all actually. No noise comes from it. But I might not be doing it right. But I absolutely intend to use that for my album. But
You're
enough
making an
about me.
album?
Nice.
I am making an album, but enough about me. Do you guys play instruments?
I used to
Yes.
play a bunch. I used to play a lot.
Ooh.
Piano, trumpet, guitar, harmonica, drums.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's a wide
Did a
variety.
bunch. It was all through different periods of time. I played piano first. That's what I learned on when I was 5, and I played that till I was about 12. And then everything else. Everything else is a lot easier if you start with piano, because it's a lot of crossover and overlap of like information and stuff. And like knowing metronome pacing for music is really useful. Harmonica was the most fun, but I haven't played anything in a long time.
Did you have a diatonic harmonica or a chromatic one?
I honestly don't remember. It was so long ago. Now it was like 20 years ago.
Okay. The question is, did it have a button on the side or no?
No, no button.
Okay, then it was diatonic.
Yeah, no button. But yeah. What about you, Hyun? Any instruments?
I mean, I used to play the clarinet back in school, but then I left it in the bus. And then it disappeared. So then my mom got pissed at me and bought another one, and I lost it again.
Oh boy!
Now did you lose it or did you just hate it? And we're looking for an excuse.
I was a dumb kid, man. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I can just see you like standing up, reaching for your backpack to like leave the bus, and you're just like, up and just throw the harmonica, the clarinet out the window, and just walk with your backpack.
I can't imagine me walking home back from school, being like, "Mom, you'll never guess what happened again."
Spoiler alert, Mom! There was a sequel to the first thing I did.
Yeah,
those things aren't cheap.
They're
pretty
not.
expensive.
Yeah.
They're not. You chose the most expensive of the things. Like you could just
Yes.
play the drums and you just take home the sticks. The drumsticks is all you would need. And you're like, oh, okay, like $8. You chose the clarinet.
man.
Like, only the saxophones are more expensive than that. It's just a hair.
Telly, have you played
You also play
instruments?
guitar, right? Yeah, I do. I wanted to ask Hyun, you play the guitar too, right? Like you're the one that taught me how to play the Naruto's Sadness and Sorrow.
Yeah. I play guitar casually, not much anymore, but yeah, I do like to play guitar every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
As for me, I play piano. I have been playing piano since I was 9 years old. I started with my sister, my oldest sister, who was 9 years older than me. She started to teach me how to play piano because she took formal classes back in New Zealand. And then she started to, just teach me whatever she knew. And then eventually I got into like a voluntary music academy that our church did.
Wow.
And they just taught people how to play music so that they could play music in their churches. And that's exactly what I did. I just learned music and then I played music in my church.
Very
And I've
cool.
been playing since.
I've heard you play piano. You're really talented. Like
Thank you.
you don't play like the simple songs. You play some of the advanced classical music.
I love to play Chopin and I love to play Rachmaninoff. They're like my favorites. I love to listen to them. These days I've been a bit lazy and slack on my piano playing because I've just been very busy with other stuff, but it's still always like something that'll hold with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I always remember being conned into being told that getting good at piano is why I was good at math, and that they are connected in some way. Do you believe there's any validity to that at all?
I don't know.
Only if you really get into polyrhythms, right? Because, if you want to like figure out how to play 5 with 7 or something like that, then math comes in. Otherwise, it's not too useful or too much.
Yeah, that's what like when I was a kid, they were like, "You have to learn to play piano. It's because it's gonna make math easier." I'm like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand."
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
That's like something my Korean superstitious mom would tell me.
Yeah, it's probably something along those lines. Like, look, you're gonna suck at learning if you don't play this right.
I will say it is very good for keeping your brain active. I remember seeing like some studies that showed like people who learned instruments were like wildly less likely to get dementia or other brain like altering diseases in old age. because it's just so good for connecting and like exercising your brain from a technical standpoint.
God damn, I'm gonna pick up that guitar again tomorrow.
Yeah, dude.
After the stream,
Yeah, dude. Our brains are already starting to melt, so we gotta get on that.
You got that TikTok brain run. Pick up an instrument.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
There you go. You gotta piano it out of your brain.
Yeah.
Anyways, shall we get started into the main portion of the show, which is getting to know a little bit more about your journey, Telly. So I'd like to know, getting into animation, how did you get started and when?
Ooh, I started in like... Okay, so there's a couple instances when I go back in the book of Telly. When I was 5 years old, my dad, he studied film and he did he did movie making. And one of the techniques that he learned was stop motion. And once upon a time, my dad pulled up and he watched me play with my toys. I played with Bionicle, like Lego Bionicles.
Oh, yeah, no. Sorry.
And he saw how I would like move them, and then he made a comment and he said, "Hey, you're really good at making them move. Like you're just good at making them like do actions." And I was like, "Wow, really? That's so cool. Thank you." And then like maybe the next couple of days later, he invited me and he said, "Hey, do you want to make an animation? Do you know what an animation is?" And he like explained to me what an animation was. And then we like went downstairs and we like pulled out the camera and then we just made like a makeshift model background, and then we like got the Bionicle and we got a Lego man, and then we just made the Bionicle eat the Lego man. And that was the first animation that I ever made at the age of 5 years old.
Whoa.
And then
Damn.
I didn't really touch animation again for a long time, and I just like focused on my studies, like learning math and science and all that, just kid stuff. And then when I was like maybe 10 or 12, this would have been like 2008 or so, yeah, it would have been 10. My dad did a very similar process. He was like, "Yeah, you got a pretty good sense of like drawing and moving things. How would you like to try pivot?"
No way.
He introduced me to pivot, and he was like, "Yeah, so you just move them a little bit, then you make a new frame, and it's like taking a picture, like what we did with the stop motion." And so, I just made like some animations, and they were like really janky, and you can see them on my channel actually, just like the old animations.
Is this your animation right here?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And how old are you here, you said?
I would have been 10, 12 kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Dang.
That's when the animation superpower gets unlocked for most people. It's between 10 to 12.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's wild.
So I learned some things, and then I kept like playing around with it, and then I started to like watch animations on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." So I like tried to learn more and just started to make like stick figures fall down the stairs, and I would like make them fall infinitely, which was really good for like learning physics, because making someone fall down the stairs is pretty hard.
Yeah, these pivot animations go pretty hard, man. Oh, dude!
Kick the bullet.
Thanks.
I love it.
The retractable hands go crazy in stick figures.
Try this at home.
Don't try this at home, kids.
No, try this at home.
Oh, try this at home.
That's awesome. Wait, so wait, who's the one that introduced you to pivot? It was your dad?
Yeah, it was my dad. My dad introduced me both to animation and to pivot. But then, like, eventually, I kept watching YouTube videos, and I saw like this particular like series that was made in Easy Tunes, where it was like a guy just blowing up a wall or trying to open up a door. And
I know what you're talking about. The iconic one,
Yeah.
the one where it's just like a wall and it goes crazy.
Yeah, and he just like gets really creative and just like keeps trying to blow up just the door. And that's when I picked up Easy Tunes. And so I just started to animate on Easy Tunes. So this would have been like 2013-ish, maybe a bit earlier.
Wow.
And
And
Yeah,
how old were you then?
I would have been like 14, 15 years old. So
Oh my, you're already like
Yeah,
rotating
you're
objects
popping
and
off.
stuff.
Yeah,
I
what
already
the
see
heck?
it.
I remember a core memory with this one actually. I remember sending this particular video to my grandma. And my grandma was like, "Wow, it's so cool. Like you're even rotating the pencil. Wow, so cool."
Yeah, she knew.
And she was like really
She knew.
encouraging.
She knew.
Yeah. And then eventually after that I decided to like graduate to Flash because that's what everyone else was using. All of the cool kids were using Flash, so I decided to like pick up Flash as well. And then I started to make more animations. There's one called that's that one right there. That was like my
the
last.
that doesn't work.
Yeah, the VCam didn't work.
Yeah.
Good old
Good
VCam
old
not working.
4x3 VCam back in the day.
Yes, sir. Hey,
you
shoot
still-
the whoop. That'd have been a shoot the whoop right there.
So you still have the name Telepurte at this point. Did you always have that name, and where did it come from?
Yeah, I always had this name since like the very beginning.
Oh my god.
Because
Whoa.
back then, there weren't duelists, but there were rock hard gladiators from the Fluid Anim days, and I wanted to make a character whose power was to throw a ball and be able to like teleport to that ball, and I was like, I need a name that is so painfully obvious what this character's power is, because I need everyone to know what their power is like from the get-go. So I'm just gonna misspell on purpose the word teleport, and then that's how it came along. And then I made up my forum name without
Cool.
thinking, right? And then it stuck to me as, like, oh, that's Teleporte. And then I was like, oh, okay, I am Teleporte.
Oh, okay, I guess I'll give it a good 20 years to see how I feel about it. See how it sticks. I'm sure
That's
I
awesome.
realize in real time it's a 20+ year commitment as we all pick our alias.
Yeah.
I think that would have been 2014 when that animation was made.
Damn.
And then I kind of just stopped animating after that because I just got bored of it or something, and then I started to like invest more into drawing. I remember at some point I had wanted to animate more than stick figures, and then I realized, oh, my drawing skill is not up to par, and so I started to draw more. And it wasn't until like 2016 or so, 2018, where I started to like pick it up again.
Yeah, this video is from 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 2016, when I was 18 years old, that was when I felt like life lit a fire under my butt, under my ass. And I felt like, wow, I'm 18, all of my friends are going into university, everyone is studying something, and I'm playing video games all day. What
Yeah.
am I doing with my life? What am I kind of good at, and what can I turn into a career? So I had two options there. I could either become a musician, or I could become an animator. And I thought to myself, no, I love music too much to turn it into something that I have to do obligatory as a job. So I chose drawing and animation. In 2016 was when I just decided I'm going to make this my career. And so I started to draw every day as much as I could, as much as possible. And I would feel my motivation just thinking, if I don't do this, I'm going to end up homeless and I'm going to die of pneumonia.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
It's very
Like, I'm
specific.
gonna draw or I'm gonna die. Okay? Gotta draw.
I mean, that's one way to motivate yourself.
It's either drawing this face or death.
Yeah, it was literally like that. I was like, I need to draw. And I would watch anime as well, right? So I would watch these shonen where like the main character would like get beat up to like a pulp and then he would get up.
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You there?
Telly,
Hello?
no.
Hello?
Wait.
Yo, you're good. You're good.
You're good?
Oh, sorry. My internet's not too good. What was the last thing you heard?
Oh.
You were saying that you were watching anime and you would see how the guy get beat to a pulp.
Yeah, and then he would get up no matter what, no matter how much he got beat up. and that was very motivational for me as well. And
So cool.
Yeah, it was just like drawing as much every day as possible. Just
Dang.
thinking like, I need to do this because if I don't, I won't have a career. I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So I mean, do you still have a passion for drawing, or was it more like out of desperation? I mean, it sounds like it's out of desperation, but
It was a bit
I don't
of
know.
both.
Yeah.
It was a bit of both in the way of like, well, I really want to get good at this. And obviously, I wouldn't do something that I didn't enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to hear from a young age the saying of you should do something that you love, even if it doesn't pay much, right? Because it's better to do something that you love, not getting paid too much, than
Yeah.
to get paid well doing something that you hate.
Dude, that's so close to like what I live my life by forever.
Yeah.
What my thing was always, I would rather fail at the thing I want and love to do than to succeed at the thing that I hate doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dang.
So
Wow.
yeah, until like 2018, sorry. 2018. I was pretty much just going through my 2 years of like putting in like the first 2 years a normal student would put in of like hard work. And by 2018, I decided I want to try animation again because I was like, well, I've invested quite a big amount of effort into drawing, so maybe I still have it with animation. I can combine the two skills.
Yeah.
And so I did, and that was when I did like the first Inktober challenge in October, just animating every day for that month, which was a big thing for me. And Hyun was actually like the main driving force behind that because I wanted to impress Hyun. And also
Yeah.
Hyun was like, if you do this, I'll give you 100 buckaroos. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna do it. I'm gonna
when
do it.
Yeah,
When
ready.
Oh, there it is, dude.
That's
Oh
the
my
second time.
gosh.
So it was the first one was $100 in 2018, and then the second one was 2019, where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it again. And then Hyun was like, I got it. $101.
Cranking the heat up.
Oh, dude, this quote is so funny, bro. It's so stupid.
Wait, what the fuck did
Coffee
it say?
pot. It was a coffee
Raid on
pot.
Sakuga Boru.
Or 300 confirmed cuts.
Oh man, this quote like cuts deep because there's so many references here, like with the Zeta Absolute and
Oh, yeah.
Sakura.
Only a few people will understand this quote.
Your IP is being traced right now. So you
Hentai warfare.
When did you join the dojo then? Because this was obviously you'd been in the dojo at this point for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The dojo was in 2016, but I wasn't actually like
Okay.
super. I didn't participate as much in the dojo back then as I did in other communities, which were more focused on art.
Mm.
For example, Psychra, which is like an artist, art tutorial YouTuber from back in the day, and he helped me so much. He was also a big influence in how I like grew as an artist, because we would have like back and forths of DMs on DeviantArt, and I was kind of just like a shitter, annoying kid, like just asking him all these dumb questions just because I wanted to talk to him. But he actually did have a lot of good advice that kind of like blew my mind in the moment. And like watching his videos, he had like good insights and good mindsets for like actually getting better at art.
Oh, yeah.
So it was really good. And also he did like a lot of podcasts with other artists and just like people who worked in the industry. And that was just like great to know how people thought and how people got to where they were. So yeah.
That's awesome that you actually got to talk to him, because I watched him a lot when like I was trying to learn to draw as well. Like he has really useful videos, like tips that no one else would kind of teach. But yeah, it's awesome that you got to talk to him.
Yeah. And so after 2019, I did like the second Inktober challenge. I was like, you know what, Hyun? I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to do the whole year. And so
I don't think anyone believed you when you said that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was only until like you got through like the first month or two that people were like, "Oh, what he means it. Oh, he means it.
Yeah. Oh, he popping off."
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the whole year. And so I did the whole year. And it was pretty hard. There were lots of moments where I wanted to give up, but you just stick through it because I had already been drawing daily. So what was animating it daily? I had already done 2 months of animation daily. What was 12, right?
Oh my God, there it is. 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
I'm just getting started. 66.
This was pretty crazy because you weren't even like known out there in the world like when you started this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kept posting these, and then we were all just kind of witnessing you kind of lose your mind very slowly over the year. But at the same time, like getting viral and like more viral, and everyone's kind of hopping on to this journey with you,
I remember watching it because I started at like 14,000 followers on Twitter at the start of 2020, which is a pretty substantial amount, but it's also, pretty small as well. And then like it just kept snowballing. It kept going up and up and up, and then people like kept sending me like videos that I had already made like maybe a couple weeks or even months back, and they're like, "Yo, look, this one went viral," and I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, it does have a lot of views."
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really like even paying attention to any of that. I was just like,
you didn't have time to. If you're doing it every day, it's like I gotta animate. You post it, and maybe I could improve this or that. Who cares? Doesn't matter because I gotta start animating tomorrow anyway. So moving on.
Mm-hmm.
My mindset was pretty much, let's make a grenade and I'll throw it into the bunker, close the door, and then like make the next grenade.
Yep.
That's like pretty much what I was doing.
Oh man, it was. I mean, these aren't very. I mean, like some of these animations are really complicated too. Like I remember you had to kind of. For some of them, you had to make them over the course of multiple days while you're making a daily animation, right?
Oh yeah. I remember that I tried to make a system where I would have like a big animation that I would like work on a little bit at a time, and then I'd have the daily animation that I would make. But this never really worked out because I only had enough energy for just one.
Yeah.
And there was no energy for anything more.
Yeah,
sorry, I forgot about that one.
I remember you telling. Oh wait, I remember you asking us like, "What should I do today?" And I was like, "You should do something with Wari."
I want to look at that. I want to look at that transformation frame by frame.
It's so good, dude.
A lot of these animations were made during being in a call in the dojo.
Yeah.
And people would watch me and they would just like egg me on. Like even up until like 4 a.m.
Dude, that is insane.
So good. What's the longest you spent? What's the rate? What's the shortest you spent on a daily and the longest you spent on a daily?
The shortest I spent was 40 minutes.
Oh,
and
wow. That's like still a good amount of time.
Yeah, that is.
And then the longest I spent was 14 hours.
Was that the whole music video that you did?
That was... I think that was another... No, that was like in 2023, I believe. Or 22?
No, I remember you did one entire... It was like at least a minute long, I think. But it was in here. I don't remember if it was a music video exactly, but is that the one that took like 14 hours? What was the one?
The 14 hours was actually the last one that I ever made. The one that burnt me out and the one that like killed all of my motivation.
Jeez.
That would have been 2023. So I tried to do it the year again in 2023 instead of 2020. But the problem with that was that I was just so tired and my brain was constantly screaming, "You've already done this. Why are we doing it again?"
Right.
Like,
You feel like you're
what do
dragging
you
your
have to
feet.
prove? Yeah, and you've already sacrificed so much. You've sacrificed having friends. You've sacrificed having sleep. You've sacrificed eating well. You've sacrificed your physical health for that year, and you're going to do it again. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And so that day where I spent 14 hours and I didn't even finish, I just quit. And then that was just a whole arc of kind of like depression and figuring out what I really want out of life. Whether I want to be an animator that does nothing else, or whether I actually want to live and travel and see the world and actually, be happy.
Yeah. I mean, judging from the first time that you did it, it was interesting to witness as a third party, watching like literally every single emotion come out of your body during this time. What were some of like the key experiences that you took away from this year challenge?
You mean like the windows of like the most heightened emotions during the whole thing?
Yeah, because like some days you'd be super happy, super energetic, and the other days like you would legit be like super, like we'd be worried for your mental health. I remember that specifically. Just hearing it from your voice, like during the call, because you were in call most of the time when you were doing these, right?
Yeah, I was. And
Yeah.
so I would say that the lowest lows that I was ever in, it was just like after 8 hours of having worked through 8 hours, and then all my friends are hopping on to play video games.
Oh my
and
god. Yeah.
I had to keep animating because I had to keep like,
You had to get it
working.
done.
And so that was like feelings of isolation, feelings of sadness. And there were times where I would like make an animation and I was like really proud of it, and then it wouldn't get as much attention or, as many likes or views that I wanted it to get. So those were like also moments where I was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing this for? And there were also moments of like anger where like I had to work, but there were people being too loud, too noisy. I couldn't focus, so I would like sometimes snap out at people. And be like, shut up, let me work.
Yeah.
And then there was the positive side of it as well, like just the fun of making people laugh in the call, because like people would watch me do it real time, and they would see the next keyframe, and they'd be like, they would see like the punchline of the animation come together as I made the next keyframe, and they would laugh, and it was really, really funny. And there were lots of good times of like uploading it and then like being like, this was a whatever animation, and then like it pops off and like it gets a ton of likes and a ton of views, and you're like, wow, people like this? People like me? And that was like a really, really validating and fun and really nice experience as well. So there was a whole roller coaster of like ups and downs during the whole thing. And of course, I remember the long nights going into like 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6, even 7 in the morning, where I hadn't slept, just pulling the whole night. And I remember my friends being like, all right, I gotta go to bed. And most people being like, I gotta go to sleep. And there were a few people who stayed with me throughout the whole call, and they were just like running out of energy as well, but they stayed with me, and that was really, really special too.
Yeah.
And then when I finally finished and uploaded the animation, we were like, all right, thank you guys so much for being with me. And that is also just a feeling that I always felt through the whole thing. It was just gratitude. Thank you so much for looking at what I make. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for just being there. And yeah, it was a really special year. But I don't think I'd want to do it again for a long, long time. Not unless I have weekends or, just I'd need to get a lot of things in order before I have like the space and energy to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's have been a lot of people kind of following in your footsteps after you did this kind of challenge, because there are other animators that kind of attempted the same thing and completed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that.
Like
That's
Mav, right?
quite.
Mav did it and Sriracha did it.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
That's really crazy too, because they did it while having jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling to me. Like, how did they do something that costed me so much while having jobs at the same time?
Yeah, good friend of mine, Nyan to the Max, also just finished hers from 2024, and she's in college. So I don't know how she would have balanced her time like that. She was she went the whole year, every day. What kind of concerns me most about this concept is that it seems like a challenge to most idol viewers watching, but unfortunately, this is kind of what almost every industry animator has to experience.
That is true.
The grind and suffering that some studios make you go through just to work with them is insane. Crunch culture, especially. I can go into it for a while, and I don't want to bring it there, but like, it's crazy that this is in some way the expectation in the industry, but it has such a mental toll on you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, animation itself it's just time consuming. You can't do animation without it being time consuming.
Yeah.
But the stuff that comes out of it is could be really special. Like every stuff
so
that Telly
worth it.
makes. Yeah, like it's so cool to just see. I mean, just Telly's thought and his mind just coming out into an animation. I think that's like one of the main. I mean, not only that was he doing it every day, is just like seeing his emotions coming through on each daily animation was pretty cool.
Yeah, because eventually you just run out of ideas of like what you want to even make. So you just start to draw inspirations from whatever you experience. And when all you experience in the physical realm is the room and your computer and what you're drawing on, the only thing that you have to draw inspiration from is your feelings. And some days you feel good, some days you feel bad, and you turn those feelings into an animation, and then people get to know you as a person personally because they've seen your emotions in an animation.
True. I mean, there'd be some days where you would just have like a 4-frame loop just saying that you're gonna rest today. And everyone's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, we get it. Yo, you go rest, buddy.
Oh my goodness. There are so many people who are saying you should take a break. You need to take a break. You need to like rest. And I understood like the kindness that they were trying to like portray, but it was also like something that at the time I received with like kind of almost like a defiant bitterness. I was like, you don't know what I'm doing here. You don't know what I'm trying to do.
Right, because it's like, of course you would want to take a break. Of course you want to stop, but your whole point is that you're challenging yourself to not do that. You know? So it's like, it's someone like try to quit cigarettes or something, and they're like, hey, you should smoke cigarettes with us. And you're like, I'm trying to quit. Can you not? And they're like, well, I got a whole bunch. You can have one. I can give it. Stop. Stop egging it on.
Another analogy that I always, it always like gave me strength in hard times was to think of it like being in the army. And I had friends who are in the army, who are in the military, right? And like they have to do some brutally hard stuff, and they don't have anyone to say you should take a break. No, it's do 20 more, do 20 more push-ups. Or you're tired, run 3 more miles, keep going. And so for me, it was like I could be really tired sitting here in front of my computer, but the tiredness that I feel is nothing in compared to like what they're going through, right?
Yeah, and
like
some
that.
other people in the world too, just living life,
One thing I've used, and this is only more recently that I've really looked at this, having been able to like look back at some things that I've created and things that people have brought to my attention that they've watched, or seeing things get views over time. And you like to think about animation as taking so much time, and on the individual, it really does. If you spend 10 hours animating something, even if it's done after you've spent that 10 hours, it still feels like a lot of time. But one thing that I like to keep in mind, or I realized, was that you might have spent 10 hours on this thing, and maybe it's only 10 seconds long, but it got 2 million views, and there's probably 10,000 hours of value of all of the people collectively that have now seen that thing, even in the first couple weeks of release, down to years and years and years and years later. So when you look at it from the grand, like that, when you're able to take a step back and the value of time that it is given joy to other people across the planet is far and above how much your time spent on that one thing. And it's timeless now. It's endless. As long as the internet is still there and your work is still published, it's forever. So you spent a ton of time on something, but it's time so well spent from even just a numbers game as well. Sometimes I like to think about that.
Just remembering, I remember thinking this too, and remembering that was so good for quelling one of like the biggest doubts that like, oh man, all this work and it's only a few seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be like really demotivating, especially if like, like not a lot of people see it. But it is something that you fight for people to see, right? Like even if your old animations only get like maybe 100 views, if you don't keep going, then they're gonna stay obscure.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to keep going until like you start to get a little bit more seen, and then your old stuff gets seen as well. So it's exactly like how you say it is, right? Like even though it is only 10 seconds, it's 10 seconds that a lot of people have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And a small message in those 10 seconds can be as powerful as a powerful quote by a prominent historical figure that someone sees on their timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember seeing, even on Twitter, like, someone saying that this one meme really helped me with my mental health throughout my life, and it was just a meme of, like, Golden Sonic saying, never trust your thoughts about yourself after 9 p.m., or how you feel about your life after 9 p.m., and it's like, yeah, right on. Just small things are so powerful and helpful for people, especially when it's positive and when it's helpful, because that might be what someone needs to hear at that time.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So it's a great opportunity. It's a really good place to like be encouraging, to be a good change in the world, to be something that actually makes a difference. That was a thought that I had to struggle a lot with during that time, was no one can really eat my art.
Mm-hmm.
Like a farmer's job is more important than my job.
It's not consumed in the same way. It's not consumed and destroyed. It's consumed and re-enjoyed and re-enjoyed and re-enjoyed for perpetually.
Right. It's like my thought was like, it's not even something physical. It's you can't even touch it. You can't eat it. You can't. All you see is what you see. That's it. But there is so much power to what you see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a very important lesson there.
I love
serious talk with this going on in the background.
I love these so much.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at. Go ahead, Hatena.
I was just gonna say, I'm just surprised how consistently entertaining you are, just by having to do it every single day. A completely new idea.
Do you feel like you improved throughout these as well, like personally?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I definitely.
Or as an animator.
Well, yeah, across the board. Like as a person, as an animator, I feel like even this is day like 100, right? Roughly.
We're getting close.
And the difference between where you started and even just right here is crazy. And where you started wasn't bad either, but you could definitely see this progression of your talent.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, like the more you do it, if you do something every day consistently for a long time, you're just going to get better at it. Doesn't matter if you're like doing electricity, plumbing,
That's true.
or drawing, tennis. You do it every day for a year, you're just going to be good at it. That's just the bottom line of it. Like, you don't even have to put much thought into like, okay, how am I going to do this? No, just do it every day for a year. You'll be good at it by the end of the year.
That's true.
It's so
I know
beautifully
a lot of
simple.
people, that are trying to get into drawing and stuff, and they want to know like the quote unquote secret. They want to get like the best drawing program with the best brushes, but then they don't actually just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
and then they get confused why they're not getting better when they have all the right stuff. When all you had to do is just actually just do it every day.
Yep.
Ultimately, all you need is a pen or paper, or pen and paper.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just sort of trust in the process. You trust in your own like human ingenuity, right? You go into it not really knowing what you're going to do, but you go into it knowing that you're going to figure it out. Knowing that even if you don't know like all the rules and all the regulations of art and animation, you go into it knowing that I'll figure it out. I'll be smart to not let myself not think anything. I'll be smart enough to figure out the ins and outs of this.
Speaking of that, like getting into drawing and stuff, was there any specific way how you kind of taught yourself how to draw, like when you were first starting off and trying to get into it?
I think I adopted the same kind of mindset. So I would watch like Psycho YouTube tutorials, right? But I would also just like draw as much as just anything that I could, any day. And I would like realize, oh, if there is a missing piece of information that I don't really know how to do here, maybe that's where I need to look. Instead of bullshitting my way through a drawing, maybe I should understand what I don't understand and try to work from there.
True. So how like if you didn't understand something per se, would you just kind of just look at tutorials on YouTube or look towards other people's drawings, or would you just kind of try to study it in a different way?
So what I conceptualize this is as just like a blockade that you have multiple ways to get over it. You can watch other people to know how they got over it. So which is pretty much like watching other people's art time lapses, other people's, just looking and observing their art and seeing how they solve the problems that you're encountering right now. And then there's people who are standing on the top of the blockade and give you a ladder down, which are the people who make tutorials, the people who make books. But that's harder to come by because the people who are willing to go through the effort of making something that will help are less common than people who just make art.
That's true.
That's another avenue. And then there's the third avenue, or another avenue. I guess I wouldn't say the third, but like another avenue, which is just to observe and to look at real life and look at what you're going on with right now and see the difference and see like what you're missing. And yeah, just always base yourself off real life and you'll figure out like things. I don't know if I'm being very eloquent about this or articulate.
I remember watching you study something in Discord, right? And you would legit, I think back during that time, you're trying to learn anatomy, right? and you would legit just Google the specific muscle that you didn't understand.
Oh yeah, I still do
And
it like
then,
that actually.
yeah, and then you would just draw it like 100 times over in different angles, like just that specific thing until you completely understood it, which is kind of insane.
So, the way that I studied anatomy, and this is like almost specific for anatomy, is that I would try to understand the bone structure because the shape of the bone defines what the muscles originate and insert into, right?
Yeah.
Like every bump that you see, a new muscle comes out of that, and every notch that you see, a tendon passes through it, or a nerve passes through it, or a vein passes through it, right? So it's once you understand like the shape of the bone, you start to understand like the muscles themselves. And yeah, I would just like look up the image of an arm and I'd say arm anatomy. And then I'd look at that and then I would be like, oh, what's that muscle? I can't really see it very clearly. So I'd open a new tab and then I'd look up the name of that muscle, origin, and insertion.
Yeah.
And then that would like show me where it starts. And that was how I did it back in the day, but nowadays there are more resources. Like there's a 3D model called, and a free online 3D model called z-anatomy.com, and that'll show you like all the muscles that you can hide, that you can rotate around, and you can like you could just do everything that you want pretty much to learn about the human body there, and it's just really useful, good to know. And I guess the internet is such a huge library of information that is just something that is so taken granted, taken for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Especially nowadays, right? Because there's so many resources now that you can just look up.
Oh yeah, and there's so many distractions too, which is why it's why not everyone is like super duper knowledgeable, right? Because the things that you search up on the internet is what forms you as a person. What you consume makes you.
Yeah.
You are what you eat, or you are what you consume. And if all you do is consume distractions, then you are just going to be a distracted person.
That's true. I mean, when it comes to I guess dedication and self-discipline, what like during times where you wanted to just not animate that day, what is a good tip to not quit during that time?
How do you keep going?
Okay, so there's two systems. The first system that I like to do sometimes, or that I like to do back then, was to open up a YouTube video or just search on YouTube. I would search motivational speeches.
Yeah.
And then I just put that in the background. And then while I was animating, I would just hear like the corniest shit. Like, you're not gonna have anything by doing nothing. And like, it's just so corny. But
Put a hang in their posters.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
It actually
Wait, what is the type of playing?
Playing motivational
speeches.
Anything that can happen will happen. Like what? What is this dude saying?
And the other avenue of motivation that I could just summon up on was to remember why you're doing something.
Yes.
Have both pushing forces and pulling forces. So what I mean by that is pushing forces are things that you're scared of, things that you're not, that you know, like things that you don't want to happen. Yeah. So in my case, it was like being homeless and dying of pneumonia. That was a powerful pushing force for me to go forwards. And then there was like the pulling forces, like, oh, if I get really good at animation, if I become famous and like all that, I'll finally get a girlfriend. And obviously that didn't happen until much later when I had to learn a lot more lessons. But like for me, that was like a big reason of like, let me work really hard for this. And I'm like, oh, I want to be famous. oh, I want to make a living out of this. So those were all pulling factors. I want to impress people I look up to. I want to make a positive impact on people. I want to make someone laugh. I want to make someone smile, and I also want to be a comfort for the people who are and going through a hard time. So those were all things that like motivated me. Like, this is why you're doing it. Keep going. This is why you're doing it. So those were always things that like I could remember and that would summon motivation for me to go forwards.
Got it. Awesome.
I love that.
I gotta play some of those videos in the background.
I know. I gotta do that. I gotta lock in. Everything's bad, but it could be good. Do it. Come on.
What was that one quote that was really funny back then? I think Mo showed me. It was some dude who was like, "Hungry dogs run faster." That just like stuck with me because it's like, hey, yo, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yo, it's that guy. It's that dude. He was dressed up like a wrestler or something.
Wait. Unmute it.
Oh my god, it's 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's this dude. He said that. I don't even know what the context is this. But
it's a timestamp.
Yeah, I don't know. It was this speech though. It was so funny though.
Oh my god, what is this outfit? Crazy.
Oh my god. He's so aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a second to talk to you about underdogs.
Oh my god. This dude's amazing though. He's good at hyping up the crowd.
Purpose and a drive. Doug Peters on a freaking off season. Shut the leash off. Griffin.
I just want to get to the quote.
We're like skipping through it. He's always yelling.
He legit just sounds like a wrestler from WWE. I don't even know what he's saying, but I'm motivated to animate right
I want him to say it.
Say the thing!
2 years. You want to talk about
He's like a more crazed Hulk Hogan.
Because I'm about to drop it right now. You know what I gotta say to all those people that doubted us, to all those people that counted us out, and everybody
right here.
who said that we couldn't get it done.
Yeah, you gotta say it.
He's gonna say it. Oh, they muted him!
And they muted him.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
his mic cut out, dude. His mic cut. Oh my god, dude. There's
Why?
Dogs run faster.
Dude, he baited us into his
Dang.
drop and just muted.
Oh.
Oh!
It's somewhere in there. I skipped around
Yeah.
a lot.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Off
I
topic.
don't know why that stuck with me. Yeah, so let's move on. I mean, so you've kind of had like your big hurrah, right, with your 1 year of animating, and I guess nowadays you've just kind of been chilling out. I mean, like you've gotten a lot of success from that challenge, which is amazing, by the way. Congrats to all of your success, Telly.
Thank you.
So I
for
guess,
you.
yeah. I mean, that's awesome to hear. I didn't know any of this would come because of us just hanging out in Discord. So
Powerful
that's,
thing, man.
yeah, it's just really awesome to hear stories like, you know, especially like yours, where you've reached so much success and you're doing really well. But let's talk about what you've been doing lately, because you've been pretty busy recently. I know a lot of people don't really know what you're up to nowadays. So yeah, what are your kind of current stuff that you've been doing lately?
Well, lately I have not been doing as much animation or art because I have been mostly focused on either like just real life stuff. Like lately I've been getting an apartment and I've been like packing up all my stuff and taking it to the apartment. And so that's been like a big thing that's been taking up all my energy. And then before that, I was visiting my girlfriend in the States, and I was like just spending time going out on dates with her and like eating lunches together with her and just like enjoying life together with her. Like I just wanted to spend like as much time with her as possible because I didn't have much time in the States. So that also meant like less time doing artwork and doing animation. But in terms of like art and animation, I've been mostly dedicating all of my effort into learning more anatomy because that is always just something to know. And I help some of my friends out, giving good critiques and just helping them like move forwards with their own goals as artists and animators. So that's fulfilling for me too. And, you know, just spending time playing video games and just living life as it comes.
I know you visited us recently too, right? Last year, or a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
recently, yeah.
We went to the gym. We went so much
we went to the gym together.
Huh.
It was so fun. Actually, that's another thing that you inspired me on to like get started on. So Hyun is the reason why I even started like really getting into animation. Like his stick figure spotlights for League of Legends were like one of the biggest inspirations for me as I was like growing up as an animator. And then like when I finally met this man in real life, he was like, what, 210, 230 pounds of just pure muscle, bone muscle. Like this man is built like a truck. And so when we would like go to the gym, like I think Hyun was like, yo, you guys want to go to the gym? Because it was like me and a couple other people. And it's like, yeah, sure, let's go to the gym. And then we'd all like, what, 5 to 10 to 12 people just going to the gym together to Planet Fitness.
At like 1 a.m. too.
Then we just like work out really hard and then we get Raisin Canes right after that. And from that, I developed like a love for doing exercise because I was like going through a pretty rough time back then, and then like exercise was introduced into my life and it was like, oh my god, this is so good. It feels so good. It's such a good place to put all of my negative emotions, all my anger, all my sadness. I can just lift 50 pounds and then it's gone?
I don't need motivational speeches?
You can just lift it away, dude.
Yeah,
I just see you on the Stairmaster, just screaming and crying, stepping away, dude.
What's that? I don't have like these urges to just feel really bad, and I could just like take it out on lifting things and like making my muscles hurt. It's like great. It's such a healthy way to get rid of all these bad things. And so I like kept going, and then like I went from 155 pounds or 65 kilograms at 1 meter and 86 or 6'1", and I went all the way up to 185 pounds or 80 kilograms, 83 kilograms. So I put on
and at
like
6'5", you grew.
My spine grew, my spine decompressed.
I learned to not
slouch.
Yeah.
His posture went from the shrimp posture to the pencil posture.
C-shaped, yeah.
Can I share a little story about me and Hyun?
Yes, please.
Sure.
I tend to forget that you do work out for as quiet and small as you may sound sometimes.
He's a gentle giant.
But he is a gentle giant because there was one day in voice chat, this is like a couple years ago or something, and I was still a chimney sweep, so I was doing heavy work every day, and I was animating, and Hyun was like, hey, Hatena, how about in like 10 minutes, we both do like, I think he said like 30 push-ups or something. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then I turned my camera on as proof that I was doing it, but you didn't. And that angered me. I got mad at that. So I was like, because you also finished like in half the time that I did. And that really upset me because I was like, oh, that's such bullshit, man. There's no way you did that. So I made you turn on your camera, and then we do it in another 20 minutes. And then we did it, and not only did you still beat me in like half the time, but you did an extra 10 push-ups just to spite me.
Oh man, dude, that was a long time ago.
That was, but I remember that very vividly. I hate you.
Yeah, I hate you too, man.
You can't spell
Awesome.
hate without antenna, man. What the hell?
Sorry, I just wanted to share
But dude,
that.
yeah, it makes me so happy that like you stuck to going to the gym after that day, because that's like a story that we tell each other still, like with my roommates.
Oh,
And
nice.
that kind of inspired them to keep going to the gym too, or like go back to the gym.
Oh man.
Yeah, this just feels nice to not only get healthy and to look better and have better self-esteem, but to just keep yourselves accountable, like keep each other accountable for like going,
just to like knock on your roommates' doors. Like it's so nice to have roommates that love to go to the gym, because you could just knock on their door and be like, "Yo, you want to go to the gym? Oh, let's go to the gym." I've gone in a while.
That's a big help.
No, you know what we do? We have a gym. We have a gym group chat just with my roommates, and then we say that we're going, and then whoever is not going, we'll just like shit talk. We'll just like give them the face. You know what I'm saying? Like
Group bullying for not going to
Hey, stay small, but we're gonna
stay
go,
small.
Yes.
All right, little guy. We'll see you later. We'll be back.
Yeah. We'd like do stuff like that, and
We're not gonna
unironically,
go to
it
the
like
gym.
helps
Aw,
each other.
man. I hope you don't get blown away in the wind.
Oh, but yeah, it's cool. It's a cool little pastime.
You gotta keep
that's-
leaving that imprint on your chair, that butt-shaped imprint. It's deeper and deeper because you never get up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, that's
hard.
awesome.
It's hard being art and animation too, and not being physically active, because it's so still, and you like have like rigor mortis setting in real time, because you're just not
Yeah.
moving for hours and hours and hours. So it's so good to be able to break it up and go to the gym, get exercise, get out.
Yeah.
Like, you have a
So
garden
big.
now. You look after chickens.
That's
too,
what I'm
so
doing. That's my gym is outside and moving dirt and lifting things in the garden. That's how I'm keeping alive.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. That's.
What have you got planted in your garden, if you don't mind me asking?
How about it? Right now, I have broccoli, Brussels sprouts, radish,
Oh,
Yeah.
carrots, onions, mint, sage, chocolate mint, lemon balm,
What?
chives,
Chocolate. Wait, what?
Yeah, chocolate mint. It's like just a different smelling mint, really.
Huh.
Damn.
It doesn't really smell like chocolate.
No,
does
it definitely doesn't smell
Right.
like chocolate. And then I also have a bunch of different cover crops like creeping thyme and crimson clover, and I have a bunch of stuff going. A lot of it's not very far right now. I've done a lot of building in my garden. Like I just built 4-foot by 8-foot boxes, and I built irrigation systems for all of those. And yeah, so I've just been doing a lot outside. Hopefully that stuff that I'm growing pans out. A lot of it's only like a couple weeks in, so they're just kind of little seedlings, little sprouts. But
Dang.
we'll see.
I've never even heard of this stuff that you mentioned. Like, I feel like that's just RPG plants right there.
Dude, their plants are so
You're the
much
kind of
fun.
person I'd want to like recruit in my team for a zombie apocalypse, because after
Oh,
you get through the
100%.
first week,
Everyone says that, dude.
Yeah.
It's true though. I grow stuff, man.
I could be your blacksmith. I was a
I
machinist
know how to see. I know how to grow stuff.
and a mason.
Yeah.
Also, you've been learning like languages for a while, right, Telly?
oh yeah. So the reason I like try to keep my brain active with a variety of different activities, including languages, is because my grandfather, from my father's side, he experienced mental decay, which
Yeah.
was very hard for everyone, because he stopped recognizing like almost everyone. and like even by the end, like he wasn't even recognizing his own wife, and that was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just don't want to go through that. I don't want to put the pain of everyone else that I love through that kind of thing. So I would do things to keep my brain active, like learn instruments and learn languages. Like there was a time where I wanted to learn French, and then there was like Polish, and then there was Japanese. And so I don't really know how to speak any of these languages. I just know something about all of them, right? And I speak Spanish, I speak English. But yeah, it's just a really good way to like keep your brain sharp and keep your brain active. And I downloaded an application which is for literally just doing math, and it will throw like math problems at you, like plus 12 times 15, and you're like, oh, 100, 210 or something. I'm like, I don't think I can do that right. 180.
That's cool.
But
yeah.
Just like stuff like that. And I just want to keep that up for the rest of my life, so that by the time I'm 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, I want to get to 100. I'll still have my wits about me.
Yeah. Dang,
Yep.
making some long-term investments, eh?
Yeah, the real goal is to keep everything as pristine as possible, so that when all of your tanks hit E at the same time, you just implode instantly. Because all it takes just one organ to not do well, and you're cooked. But if you keep everything depleting at the same ratio, at the same time, then one day you're just like, and just you're gone.
Yeah.
You just go to sleep, and the next morning you wake up as a pile of dust.
Yeah, and you're like, yes, I did it! Woo!
Yeah, I'm waiting for that switch to happen any year now. I'm kind of scared.
No, I'm dust.
Like me and Stone were just talking about it, but like every morning I see a new white hair that I gotta.
Dude,
that I gotta pull out.
all underneath my chin, dude. All my like underneath, like you can't see it if I'm looking right at you, but if you're short, you'll see that underneath my beard is just white. Not gray hairs. It's just all white, all of it. I didn't know until one day I looked up and I was gonna do like shave my like way up above my Adam's apple. Mole. Oh no! What is this? It's like crouching.
I love how you specified that, like, if you're short, you can see it. Like, that makes it to me, that gives off the idea to me that, like, your kid definitely pointed it out to you.
Yeah, he knows. He's known. He's like, you're old. And I'm like, what are you talking about, you stupid baby? He's like, I can see you rotting.
The chat is just making fun of how old you all sound.
Oh my god, dude.
Back in my day.
It's just how it is now, chat, man. I mean, back in the day, we were just like you guys, but
Back in the day.
It's catching up.
All you kids in chat are gonna have your day when you're sitting down and you go. That's when you know you're old.
You don't know how close it is.
Yeah.
You do not know.
A lot closer than you think, man.
Yeah.
I'm 24 and I already reached that like a few years ago.
Yeah, like you remember, like as a kid, you hear people tell you to like lift things with your legs and not your back, right?
I can't even
Shut
do
up,
that
old
anymore.
man!
Dude,
I'm gonna do what I
the
want.
first time I experienced my first real back pain was when I knew that it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh no!
Oh my god! It's real. It's actually real. It's crazy.
My back.
Yeah, your body just doesn't repair like it does when you're younger at all.
Yeah, let's take care of yourselves while you're young, man.
Hmm.
And when you're old too.
And do stretches, exercises and stretches, and eat healthy. Make sure that you get the right amount of micronutrients and right amount of sleep. Just take care of yourself, because you will feel better. It's a lot harder to deal with depression when you're not feeling healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
All right, I think we're going to transition into the last couple segments here. I've just started an Ask Away a Q&A bubble. Use that bubble up there, for those of you who are watching live, to ask some of your questions. And in a little bit, we'll go through them and answer some. So if you have a question for any of us here, especially Tally, then ask away. But we have an animation to watch. We have a feature by longtime member of the community, Majoradim, I think is how you say it.
I always call him Major Adam.
I don't want to say mine's right because I'm not sure, but I think he joined my one of my old streams, and I said his name, and he said, "Wow, you're one of the few people who got it right." But I could be misremembering.
Way.
I could be misremembering, but I think it's either Majoradim or Majoradim. It's one of the two.
Majoradim.
It depends on how you pronounce the J. But he released Alter Episode 12 finally.
Ooh.
This is one of the longest ongoing series.
Oh yeah, no, this series is years old.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. If you guys don't know what Alter is,
I actually don't.
Alter started 9 years ago.
9 years ago?
Yeah.
It started in 2016.
He's so consistent with this series. It's kind of crazy if you just think about it.
That's insane.
Damn, and he works on everything all on his own as well. But it is crazy. I've definitely been keeping a close eye on everything. It took me a few years to get into it, but once I sat down and decided to watch all of them, I got so into it. It's such a well told story.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch a little bit. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but episode 12 releases.
Yeah, it is pretty long.
I still haven't seen anything here.
Does it have copyrighted music? I don't know if it does.
Yes, it does.
What? We're just
right. And the royalty-free game remix music goes on.
Yep.
Yeah,
does not match
I've seen him get. He's improved so much over the years too.
Oh my god!
With his backgrounds, just his fight scenes and his angles too.
I remember they improved so dramatically quickly when they were starting. Like with each episode, like I believe in the third episode they did like one of the coolest like perspective-based choreography sequences I've seen in a while.
These backgrounds are nice too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I actually look at his stuff sometimes when I'm trying to do my backgrounds because I feel like
we got a fight coming up, so I'm gonna try and skip forward to that real quick.
Yeah.
But for all the story stuff, please go watch the rest of the series. It is definitely worth a watch. Ooh. This almost looks like Pivot, does it not?
Yeah, I thought it was.
It is Flash, but it looks like it's done in Pivot. At least this sequence.
Yeah.
I bet they used the line tool.
Oh
yeah.
No, that can't be it.
I like how he.
I think it was how they were doing the smears.
Ooh, that was pretty.
Like how they were doing the smears here. It's like kind of Pivot-esque, solid shapes.
True.
All like triangles, very straight edges. Sorry, I'll let it keep going.
That is very nice.
Oh no, I want to look at that sphere. Oh, I love spheres. Hold on this shot. Oh, that's so fun. Ooh.
You guys don't know how much like smears matter to stick figure.
Oh, they add so much. It's funny, whenever you start doing stick figure animations, you add smears to every movement, and then you slowly realize you shouldn't use it that much.
Oh no, you can never have too many smears.
I think you can have too many smears. That's an argument for another day. Is that all for the fight sequence? It's got to be more.
Yeah, just look at the background.
Pretty background.
Stuff.
Oh
Very
yeah,
nice.
It's so good. I like it a lot.
All very nice.
We should get this guy on sometime.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. I wonder
Super
if they'd be
underrated
down.
animator.
Do we even know what they sound like?
I have no idea, dude. I know he's come on.
They just come on text to speech.
I saw him a lot. Like, actually, I don't even know if he's active in the Discord.
I'm loving their expressions.
Yeah, just feel like he's kind of just in his own little
bubble.
Little bubble.
I want to know who all worked on this. Is it just him? Thumbnail artist was himself.
I am not surprised at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. Does he have credits back here? Other than songs, SFX.
Pepper, of course.
Provided it. No, I think he worked on the whole thing by himself. That is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big props to you, man.
Definitely go check
Huge
out
impressive.
the rest of them. It's a wonderful series, well put together. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of your questions now. Oh, dang it. I forget it does that now.
Okie dokie.
1 second.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, dang it.
All right.
Oh, but
Let's see. Least fun exercise for you from Spam. I don't know how to say that name. Spamace?
Topamaco?
I don't
No.
know. For me, it's squats. Because I injured my knee, and every time I do that, I can hear my knee crinkle.
Eesh.
I was always afraid to do deadlifts because I feel like my spine is just gonna fall off.
Oh, I
So,
want to do
I
one.
feel like I'm gonna mess it up somehow, and my spine's gonna snap.
Now, is that the one? Are you thinking about the one where you're like on your back and raising it above you, or like?
Yeah, raising it up, like where you have the bar, and you're bent down, you lift. Yeah,
I
feel like I'm
never
gonna
did
that.
deadlift.
I
slip
definitely
my
would
back.
do that. The Hyun and Telly, how much can you lift?
In what?
I deadlift. I don't know. I don't know all the terminology.
Deadlift? So there's different exercises, right? And with every exercise, you're going to be working out a different muscle. And each of your different muscles are going to have different strengths, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, generally, you want to like, when people ask you like, how much can you lift? It's like usually a deadlift, right? Or
bench.
chest press, sorry.
Bench.
Yeah, bench. Chest press or chest bench. I would say that I'm probably capable of lifting 2 50-pound dumbbells on each side.
Damn!
Damn.
Wait, 250 pounds?
Yeah, so 50-pound dumbbells.
Okay, I thought you said 250-pound dumbbells.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Freak!
No.
Huh.
So
50-pound dumbbells on each. Yeah, that's respectable. That's awesome.
I don't really go for like a lot of weight. I usually go for higher reps and slow and controlled form.
Yeah.
That'll
Definitely
give you like better results and give you a better burn and sore muscles.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I never deadlift, so I don't know my deadlift max, and I also never do 1 rep maxes because I'm too scared of those. But
Same.
what I have done, I think, was a 220 on bench for like 7 reps. I think that was my max.
That's great.
My least favorite exercise is probably just squat or just legs in general, but I still do them.
I think my least favorite exercise would have to be calf raises.
Dude, yeah, a lot of people hate calves.
I love calf raises. That was the one thing I was good at.
I'm flat foot, right? So I have a lot of weakness in the bones of my feet, and the joints of the bones of my feet, and also like the muscles that move the feet, which is the calves. So yeah, I get really sore, really tired, and I also suffered a sprain like 6 months back or 8 months back
Ooh.
Oh,
on my right ankle. So it's very painful. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's just like playing a video game and trying to just beat your old record every day you go, right? All right, next question.
Yeah, Young Guy 1 asks, at what point of your life / time of growing up did it click for you that this is what I want to do?
Well, like I said earlier in my story, that was the age of 18, where I had a fire lit under my ass where everyone else was going to university and studying their courses. And I was playing video games all day, being useless, eating hot Cheetos and all that, just like not doing anything with my life.
Ooh, those are good though. Those are good.
And so I was like, I'm gonna pick one. So that was art.
For me, it was probably pretty early on. I always knew I wanted to do art. I've been very into art since I was like in preschool. But then around when I was 11 or 12 and started really getting into Flipnote Studio, that's kind of when I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And now I don't. That's not quite my career, but it's in the industry, so I'm happy with it, and I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
How about the two of you, Stone Hyun?
I mean, for me, it probably clicked because I feel like I've had it a couple different times, like because I did animating and web design and like graphic design for like 10 to 15 years, and I would say it was probably around 2007, 2008 when I was in college and I was considering why I would continue college, and I was like, why am I like I think I remember the specific thing. I was in a graphic design course in college, and I was going for my bachelor's degree, and the teacher started to know some of the things I was doing online with like Fluid Anims, the web design, and my animation, and they wanted me to teach at the college a course on animation and Flash. And so they hired me in my own class to teach a course on Flash. And I thought to myself, like, okay, I'm already doing the thing that I want to do. And now I'm going through the process of going to college to just kind of, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And it was like in that moment that I was like, if I'm already doing the thing that I like to do, and they're already hiring me to do this thing while I'm already pursuing it on like a business level, then what am I wasting my time for? I just need to do this. And then it was like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, I'm going to be into web development and animation since it finally clicked. Like, it's what I love to do. And it was building momentum to where I can kind of see the tunnel or path to it being something that could pay bills.
Yeah.
And then once those two things converged, that's pretty much the moment that I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going for it.
Yeah. I think everyone that is sort of in the creative field as a hobby, they will at least go through that crossroad in their life where they have to make that life-changing decision if they want to do creative as their thing versus I don't know, like getting a job in the standard field of just business or just another thing that's normal per se.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that time will come for everyone, I think, and it happens as you're growing up, like from a kid to an adult. That time kind of creeps up on you. So I think, yeah, just knowing what the risks are and just making that best choice for yourself and not for anyone else is just the best thing to do, I guess, for yourself. And sometimes it's the wrong decision, but I think most of the time it does end up being worth it. If you're like into it hard enough, right?
It's also important to say that like I feel like you don't ever just choose one thing to spend the rest of your life.
That is true. Yeah,
your ambitions and dreams and wishes are going to change. Whatever you're excited for at that moment, it's probably going to change in the future. And if it doesn't, more power to you. But I feel like more often than not, like people want to do different things. We're not robots. We're not machines.
Yeah. So you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket like I did.
And one thing can segue to another, and they don't even have to be related.
Yeah.
I did.
Life just happens. It takes you places. It allows you the opportunity to do things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I was doing stick figure animation, and that somehow segued into me having a card store. Like those two things
true.
didn't connect, but they did,
Mm-hmm. All right. Sorry. A less serious question from Drickson. Favorite type of fries?
French.
I like curly fries.
Garlic aioli.
Does anyone actually like the waffle fries that they have at like Chick-fil-A?
I was literally about to mention that. Like, they're pretty good.
Are they? I never got those. I never understood those.
It's because it's like you know the crispy bits in the fries. It's like the whole thing. The whole thing is crispy.
The whole thing's
I don't
crispy.
know. I think I like. I don't know. I'm very particular when it comes to my fries.
To me,
I like it when they're
fries
crispy
are
on the
just a
outside.
sauce. What's
And
that?
when they're soft and fluffy on the inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, fries are
Okay.
just a sauce vehicle to me. It's all about the sauce. If I don't have a good dipping sauce, then I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not
then
even
what's
super into
the
it.
perfect dipping sauce?
Most? Dude, no, dude. My thing is fry sauce. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
What?
Yeah.
the
Like,
hell?
yeah.
the
No,
Chick-fil-A.
there
Some
are
people
some
say
places that
Chick-fil-A
serve.
sauce.
Yeah, they serve literal, like it's called fry sauce.
And it's literally
What?
it's basically ketchup, mayonnaise, usually with a little bit of mustard, and it's like pinkish. That's what you get in fry
okay,
sauce.
yeah.
like
It sometimes have like
pinkish or
chunks
more
of relish
yellow.
in it. Yeah, I like fry sauce. But I'm big on a bunch
That's
of different
fair.
sauces. You know, and different places have better sauces than others.
For me, you can never go wrong with good old ketchup. Just ketchup is
True.
all I need.
I like barbecue sauce. That's my base level. I usually don't choose ketchup, but if I don't know the place and they don't have any interesting sauces, I go with barbecue sauce.
Oh. Sorry, y'all can shout out these questions as well if you see any you like.
I'm scrolling through the questions. Keep asking questions, guys.
Yes, keep asking.
Is there any question that you guys would like to ask me about anything, about myself, about animation, or art,
Voltage.
or even anatomy?
Voltage asks Telly, got any tips for learning language?
Ooh.
For learning
Languages,
language.
sorry.
Okay, break it down into vocabulary and grammar. And then the way that you're going to study vocabulary is associate a word with a picture or a scene in your mind, right?
Ooh.
So a way that a lot of people do this is using flashcards, which, you know, like has the question on the back and then the answer with a picture on the front. And then, yeah, you just associate that word with a particular picture. And then when you're thinking of like a sentence and you're like missing a word, you're like, oh, what was that word? And then you remember the picture and you're like, oh yeah, that one. Because the brain is extremely smart and is very extraordinarily good at connecting words with pictures. And for grammar, just try to approach it kind of like how you would learn anything else, pretty much. Just try to understand it, try to learn it. And then, yeah, you just learn the grammar.
Cool.
Cosmonaut.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead. You guys.
Okay. Solomon, a question for any of us, says, I've been exclusively stick nodes for the past 2 years. Now I feel that I can animate on any software, but how should I tackle switching to a flow that requires drawing?
I would say, because I went from Flipno Studio to Flash CS3 to start, and that transition was pretty jarring because I was trying to learn too much information at the same time. So my advice would be, even if you feel like you can animate anything and everything, when you're moving to a new software, get familiar with a few really good tools, really basic tools, and then expand your knowledge from there, because every piece of software is going to function either extremely differently or a little bit differently, and you're going to have to allow yourself enough time to understand that nuance. So instead of trying to get great with that software within like a week or two, while it is possible, it's a lot more stressful. And if you're wanting more of a smooth transition, just get really good with like maybe their brush tool, their pencil tool, selection tool, Just learn some of their basic tools first, and then expand into what else they offer.
And build on top from there.
Yep.
Right on. I agree so much.
Oh yeah.
I would also say, like, most important thing, get a tablet. You will need a drawing tablet for getting into drawing, because doing it with mouse is possible, and I know people who do it, but it is not easy.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
My tip is to, especially if you're learning a new program, just get used to the timeline and how the timeline works. Because that is pretty much the lifeblood of any program, is just getting familiar with the timeline. So as long as you learn the timeline and you have a brush tool, you're pretty much
set
to go. Yeah.
All right. Cosmonaut Man 1 says or asks, what would your schedules for animating / learning to draw be like, as in how many hours you spend a day? Recommendations? I would say it depends.
You want
on...
healthy recommendations or unhealthy?
Well, I would say it depends on if you intend for it to be your career or not. If you want it to be your career, you're going to want to spend probably more hours than what might be considered healthy. Because unfortunately most studios do participate in crunch culture, and it's not a very healthy mental working environment. But I'd say shoot for as many hours as you can. Give yourself, of course, the weekend, but you know, maybe shoot for like 4 or 6 hours a day to start, and then when you get into the industry, you can either go 8, or eventually they'll make you do more. But if it's just a hobby and you want to keep it a hobby, then don't set an expectation for yourself. I'd say animate for however long you enjoy animating for, up until it gets to the point that you can't stand it, or you're just not having fun. Because then at that point, in my opinion, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that distinction of, are you going to become a professional with it, or are you just going to do it as a hobby? In both cases, I would definitely recommend starting with a small amount of time and then building up from there. Like, start one day doing 1 hour of animation, then the next day doing 2 hours, and make sure that you take frequent breaks. Like, take breaks like once every 30 minutes. Like, get up, walk around, drink water, breathe. Like, make it an actual effort to breathe. Breathe in 4 seconds, hold it 4 seconds, breathe out 8 seconds, that kind of thing.
It sounds silly, but it's real.
Yeah, so much of us forget to actually breathe correctly. We breathe too lightly, we clench our jaws, we clench our shoulders, and we don't take care of ourselves in that way. So it's good to take very frequent breaks and build up from what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
I'm looking for another question. We'll do maybe 2 or 3 more, and then we'll call it.
Sure.
All right. Clark asks, any advice on what to do if getting commissioned for work as an artist? Like what to make sure to do and what not to do?
Ooh.
Make sure to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a good tip is to, if you're sending your work, make sure that you put a big watermark over it in case they take it and they don't pay you.
Yeah, until it's paid.
Yep. Yeah.
And make sure that you're charging the adequate amount as well.
Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of people, they undersell themselves because they don't know what they're worth. And I would say, think of it like hours per, was it dollars per hour for how much you work on a piece. Kind of estimate that. How much do you think it'll be worth it? So if you think $9 an hour is worth it for you, and then you can put down how much you think a piece is going to take. Like if it's going to take 3 hours, then you can do like 3 times 9, and then you can charge that amount. But if you think that's not worth it, then just up your hours. Your dollars per hour.
Or if you really don't want to do it, double your price. Because sometimes you might get a job, and you're like, oh my god, like I got so many other things going on. I really don't want to do this specific thing. If you're your own boss, and usually it would be $100 to do that thing, be like, all right, $200. That's my rate for this thing. Because at the end of the day, if it's something you really don't want to do, art is incredibly difficult to do if you really don't want to do it. And my take is, if you're not interested in it, it's harder, and you're gonna drag your feet through it.
Yeah.
And I took way too many jobs where I already was undervaluing my time, and the ones that sucked the most took the longest, and I ended up getting paid pennies to the hour for my work, and it's awful.
Yeah, it'll take time and experience to get used to charging people, especially when it comes to a creative field, because it can range from really low to really high. Yeah,
such a tremendous range.
All right, we'll do one last question here, and then we'll call it. But the RPT asks, what do you guys do when you're going through an art block? Also, how to get better with color.
Those are two different questions.
They are.
I want to answer the first one.
Okay.
So, what do you do when you're in an art block? Well, one quote comes to mind for this one, which is, "Inspiration can strike you at any moment, but it has to catch you working." So if you don't have any ideas, and I had to do this a lot when I was doing my year of animation, start even if you don't have an idea, and keep going until you get an idea halfway through.
Okay, I like that.
Doing is a lot more powerful than theory crafting doing.
That is true.
And the additional supporting thing that I have to that is, it is a lot easier to add on to what already exists, or to correct what already exists, than to create something from nothing. So make something, even if it's bad, even if it's terrible, and then work from there.
True. I know how scary it is to just be staring at a blank canvas with 0 frames. So yeah, just putting something down helps a lot, I think, just mentally.
Yeah, I'd also say, and I can't really speak to this, I've never encountered art block before myself.
What the?
But I feel like
monster.
A good way to avoid it is to widen your horizon, give yourself more variety, allow yourself to do more than one thing in art. A lot of artists go into music as well as either a side hobby, or they try and juggle both as financial.
That's actually a really good idea. There's another side effect for going into music if you're an animator, is that timing. When you're animating something, you actually can hear the movements even if there are no sound effects.
Very true. Very, very true.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. But yeah, allow yourself to dive into more creative outlets. Like personally, I do collaborations. Is the thing I'm most known for. I obviously do music. I do my own animations. My work for Alan Becker is very different. I've been starting doing like animated commentary videos behind the scenes. I mean, I could keep going. There's a lot of different creative outlets that you can do that you might be interested in. So just try something different, and it might give you a new source of inspiration. And then eventually you might be ready to go back to the one that you were struggling to get back into.
Yeah.
But again, coming from someone who hasn't experienced burnout or art block or whatever. But I think we're going to go ahead and end it there, unless anyone has unless any of you have any other thoughts to add on to that.
Oh, didn't he ask about color or something?
Oh yeah, how to get better with color.
Do you have any comments about that, Mr. Hyun?
I'm horrible with colors. I mean, just look at my hat. So you can go ahead, Telly.
Okay, so I have a very important tip. Analogous colors. So you have a main color, and then you have a color that is about 15 degrees either to clockwise or anti-clockwise on the color wheel. Those are your analogous colors. And when you make something lighter or darker, you switch the hue. Never stay on the same hue when you go lighter or darker. When you go darker, you either go warmer, which means more towards red, or more towards blue, which is a cooler color. And your light should always be the opposite of your shadow. So if your shadows are warm, your light needs to be cold. If your light is cold, your shadows need to be warm. And anytime you go up in value, you either go warmer or you go colder.
Interesting.
That is my tip for color.
Dude,
wow,
I literally just learned about colors.
Write that down!
If we want to talk about color, we got to get Awaz on. He's an absolute nerd about color.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I actually learned from that. Thank you,
That's
Tilly.
big.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Go on.
Bro, this pizza's getting stale.
Yeah, take the bite!
Well, you've been
ate
taking a
pizza.
single bite, dude.
Oh,
I have not swallowed this bite.
It might help. It might help if you swallow, just one bit.
pizza vapor in your mouth by this point, dude.
It is Chuck E. Cheese though, so it probably is cardboard and
It could
recycled.
be, yeah. All right, shall I send us off?
Yeah. Yep. Send
Yes,
us off.
sir.
Go ahead.
All right, Telly, thank you so much for joining us, buddy, on today's episode. And everyone else that is seeing this in the future, or if you're watching this right now, please be sure to leave a comment of something you liked or remembered from this episode, because we do look back at the comments and they help us shape the show. And join us next week for episode 36 with Pivot Blimp.
Ooh.
Hey, oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
That is exciting.
No cliffhanger this time.
All right.
Okay.
Thank y'all for watching.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me on.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely.
Telly.
Yeah.
Love to have you on.
Really
Thank you to
nice.
all the viewers for stopping by. Love you all.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bros, Loon's
I
still
hate
in there.
all of them.
Yeah, Moonstar, you good?